This is a Fox News alert. Prince William responding to a bombshell case of media malpractice concerning his mom, Princess Diana. For hundreds of years, the partitions of these ancient halls have held memories that were in no way intended to peer. The mild of day. Stories of fractured households, bitter rivalries, hidden alliances, and selections made inside the shadows. The grins in public. The precise appearance. The orchestrated silence. They become all supposed to preserve. The phantasm alive, but the cracks are too deep to cover. Now secrets which have simmered for years are effervescent to the surface, threatening to alternate the whole lot. The veil of perfection is slipping, revealing an aspect of royalty the arena was by no means alleged to witness. This isn't just about lifestyle or legacy anymore. It is about survival, loyalty, and betrayal. What takes place when the untold truths come out? What occurs when the ones who have lived in silence determine they've had enough? This is the tale of energy and privilege colliding with the load of truth. Once it starts, there is no turning back. Diana's legacy and the aftermath of her dying. It turned into imagined to be a quiet nighttime in Paris, but alternatively, it had become a nighttime the sector will in no way forget. On August 31st, 1997, the world awakened to devastating news. Princess Diana, regularly known as called the People's Princess, had died in a terrible vehicle crash inside the Pont d'Arme tunnel in Paris. The activity's main, as much as the tragedy, had been a chaotic blur. Diana and her associate Dodi Fett have been pursued relentlessly with the aid of paparazzi, their motive force. Paul turned into reportedly seeking to get away the aggressive swarm of paparazzi's. Photographers, the auto sped through the streets some distance past secure limits, after which, in an on-the-spot, it all ended with a collision. The instantaneous aftermath was a combination of shock and grief. News channels have been flooded with snapshots of the mangled vehicle and candlelit vigils outside Kensington Palace. However, because the day's past questions began to floor. Why had been they driving so rapid? Why wasn't Diana wearing a seatbelt? Should this have been prevented? And then got here, the whispers theories that the crash wasn't just a tragic twist of fate, but something a ways darker. For years, conspiracy theories have swirled around Diana's death. Some consider it was a setup orchestrated by way of powerful figures who saw Diana as a chance to leverage the monarchy. They cite inconsistencies in legit reviews and the mysterious absence of surveillance footage in the tunnel that night. Should or not, it's feasible, as some declare that Diana's courting with Dodi Fayed and her vocal reviews of positive institutions made her a target, while investigations ruled it an accident caused by reckless using in alcohol, and take the theories persist, maintaining the tragedy shrouded in mystery. How do you pass ahead while your mother is taken from you in the sort of merciless public way for Princes William and Harry? Diana wasn't simply the sector's beloved princess, she changed into their mother. Her unexpected death shattered their childhood. William turned into simplest 15, and Harry, just 12, they had to face the not possible ache of losing her. Even as being thrust into the general public eye, millions watched as they walked at the back of her coffin at some stage in the funeral procession, their younger faces, etched with grief years later. Both princes have spoken openly approximately the profound effect of her loss. Harry once described it as a wound that festers, while William referred to as it, "a ache like no other." In many approaches, Diana's demise fashioned the men they could turn out to be. Harry had become an outspoken proponent for mental health, and William embraced his role as a stabilizing force for the monarchy. But what if Diana were here these days? What might she say to her sons? It's impossible no longer to wonder how Diana may have guided William and Harry. Through the complexities of royal life, might she have cautioned Harry to stay within the royal fold, or supported his decision to step away? Would she have helped mend the rift among the brothers? Imagining her voice, one might pay attention. Her say, "Do not let the sector divide you. You're more potent together." However, tragically, we will by no means recognize both princes have frequently referenced their mother in public speeches. At the unveiling of her statue in 2021, they united to honor her. Legacy William called her a force for accurate, even as Harry, to her, and courage. Their words remind us that even in loss of life, Diana's presence continues to guide them for King Charles. Diana's presence continues to guide them for King Charles. Diana's death turned into not only a non-public loss, but a public reckoning. Whilst Diana died, Charles confronted a hurricane of complaint. Public sentiment become already fragile following their high-publicized divorce. and plenty have blamed him for her unhappiness. In the days after the accident, he became criticized for staying in Balmoral with William, and Harry, in preference to immediately returning to London, a few noticed it as cold and unfeeling. However, others argue it became an impossibility. Trying to shield his grieving sons from the media frenzy, Charles reportedly took a hands-on position in making sure Diana's frame was delivered lower back to Britain with dignity. He flew to Paris himself to accompany her home, an extraordinary and poignant moment that discovered the depth of his sorrow. No matter their differences, Charles had shared a considerable part of his life with Diana. Her demise, via all accounts, deeply affected him. But what became going through his thoughts in the one's moments? Did he sense guilt, regret, or something else? Entirely speculating on Charles's non-problem mind, one may think a complicated mix of feelings. Did he replay moments from their tumultuous marriage, wondering, thinking if matters might have been one of a kind? Became he, thinking about how the general public could view him now, not just as a grieving ex-husband, but as the future king? In many methods, Diana's demise pressured Charles to confront his personal humanity. As time has bypassed, Charles has tried to redefine his image, specializing in his environmental advocacy and charity work, but Diana's shadow looms big to many. Most of them probably weren't flying rockets into the city. And I happen to be the one kid in the future king. She remains the image of a monarchy that could be warm and relatable, a stark assessment to the often formal and remote image of the organization. An excellent way to frame the thriller, along with the protagonist Bernie Sanders. So the question stays, has Charles absolutely stepped out of Diana's shadow, or is he nonetheless residing in it? Charles's relationship, along with his sons, has also been affected. Harry, in particular, has been candid, approximately the strain among them once, declaring there may be loads to paintings via the anxiety displays no longer just personal differences. However, additionally, the enduring weight of Diana's legacy. For Charles, each move seems to be measured towards what Diana would possibly have accomplished, a comparison that, truthful or no longer keeps to form public belief. William and Harry communicate out the royal family isn't any stranger to headlines, however. When Princes William and Harry talk out, the world listens with bated breath. Through the years, their candid revelations have unveiled a deeper, greater human side to the monarchy, leaving many bowled over. Sympathetic and curious for greater what came about behind palace doors after Princess Diana's death, and how did her legacy push the brothers down very exclusive paths? When Harry and Meghan sat down with Oprah in 2021, the sector became now not ready for the bombshells they were approximately to drop. It's like they detonated a royal truth grenade, one tabloid wrote. Harry opened up like never earlier than sharing the mental toll of being inside the spotlight. And his fears of history repeating itself, he stated, "My biggest difficulty turned into records repeating itself. I've seen what takes place while someone I love is commoditized to the point where they may be not treated as a human being." This wasn't only a conversation, it turned into a raw emotional outpouring. Harry spoke. Approximately the mammoth stress of being a royal and the way he felt trapped within the gadget, the sector heard him speak about how his mother's death haunted him, how it formed his selections to prioritize his circle of relatives' protection, and how Meghan had given him the energy to interrupt loose. It wasn't just a critique of the organization, it became a desperate plea for understanding now. Contrast that with William's approach, because the future King William has continually maintained a public photo of cohesion and responsibility. Quickly after Harry's Oprah interview, William addressed newshounds directly. "We are very much not a racist circle of relatives," he said, protecting the monarchy towards claimed names. Made with the aid of Harry and Meghan, it changed into uncommon to see him talk so bluntly. He also emphasized that he had no longer spoken to Harry, but however deliberate to leaving the world thinking what those conversations might entail, William has consistently upheld the concept that the monarchy must adapt and live on, but Harry's revelations regarding to poke at the very foundation of that idea is Harry breaking free, or breaking, other than his family, and is William defending the family or the system that hurt them each for years. The picture of William and Harry, because the Golden Brothers described public perception of the royals, but at the back of the grins and accents are the words, captains. This backstory is key to understanding the symbolism imposed by the royals in Piriar Harakam, by mechanics in captivity. by the Greek united the front. Tension simmered. Insiders have claimed that the brothers started drifting apart lengthy earlier than Harry's departure from royal duties in 2020. The split have become obviously apparent when Harry and Meghan announced they have been stepping away from their responsibilities, including running the royal estates. They returned as senior royals. William reportedly felt blindsided by using the choice assets close to the palace to find him as deeply harmed, and betrayed. Harry, however, felt that staying within the royal bubble became suffocating. I've become born into this life, however, I've selected to step away, Harry has stated. However, what different off in the once private conversations among William and Harry changed into a clash of values or a clash of egos. Speculative debts paint a vivid photo in their fallout. Consider Harry saying, "You abandoned me once. I wished you most. You didn't stand up for me," for Meghan and William hurt. And angry firing again. "You deserted the own family, Harry. You left me to hold the weight alone." It is easy to see how each makes sense. Justified. William became groomed for management duty, ingrained in him, considering that birth for Harry, though duty without freedom felt like a gilded cage. This essential distinction in how they considered their roles probably widened the rift. The general public of direction became left to select facets. A few saw Harry as a courageous trailblazer carving his own route. Others regarded William as the constant, rock-sacrificing private goals for the best of the group, however. What does Diana's legacy most do with this feud greater than you might assume? Diana's presence looms big over both her sons. She wasn't simply their mom, she was their protector, their confidant, and their finest impact. Even in death, her voice appears to echo in their lives. For Harry, Diana's untimely loss of life turned into a warning call. He's spoken candidly about how dropping her made him question the entirety, the media, the monarchy even. His personal identity he's often defined. How he noticed the identical patterns gambling out with Meghan that Diana confronted, relentless scrutiny, judgment, and isolation. It's no wonder Harry determined to walk away. In his mind, he was shielding his wife and children in a manner his mother couldn't shield herself. However, for William, Diana's legacy carried a one-of-a-kind weight. He appeared to tackle her assignment of connecting with humans at the same time as staying inside the royal framework. William has always proven his commitment to the crown, understanding that someday he'll be king. This feel of duty inherited from each Diana and Charles seems to have rooted him firmly in tradition. But here's the question. Might Diana have wanted her sons to live certain by way of culture or to interrupt unfashioned like she as soon as attempted to? It's a question the brothers appear to reply in their personal ways. Harry's move to California, his candid interviews, and his public opinions of the monarchy all scream rebellion. A rebel Diana herself may have. Popular William, however, honors Diana with the aid of sporting ahead, her empathetic human being's first method inside the constraints of royal duty. He is often seen attracted warmly with the public, just like his mother as soon as did, but the shadow in their mother once in a while seems to pull them in addition aside. Each claims to behave in her reminiscence. However, their interpretations of her legacy could not be more extraordinary. William's steadfastness and Harry's defiance are facets of the identical coin, each formed via Diana. Yet using them in contrary guidelines, it is tempting to hope for reconciliation. To assume that one day